Animation has been alive in entertainment media for over 100 years. Since 1906, animation has been a powerful tool for creating worlds never imagined and then bringing them to life on the screen. Disney classics like Cinderella of 1950, cartoons like the Flintstones of the 60s, or Nickelodeon hits of the 90s to blockbuster Pixar films today, American animation films and television have intrigued and inspired audiences across the globe. The once drawn, now digitally created medium has a creative appeal to multiple audiences of all ages, but one group in particular: children. Most people view animation in the early stages of their life. Dr. Hugh Klein states, the specific medium type is exposed through cartoons to people at an early age and can last for many years.
No zoo would be complete without a monkey cave.
Children have been animation's major target audience since its birth in Disney films and Merry Melodies of the 1940s. The medium has the power to present social ideals, morals, and tough topics to children in an easy and enjoyable way.
Hey, sister! Can't you read?
Animation has been and is still used for teaching purposes through subtextual learning and are even found in classrooms and churches.
Hello, everybody. I'm Tim, and this is my pal Moby.
While children are exposed to positive messages, the content they view is still entertainment, which means not all subconscious learning can be positive. As a form of entertainment, animation still requires pleasing looks and eye-candy creations, which may not be so positive, but have negative effects on the young mind's subconscious learning.
Talk about babes in the woods.
I must say, you do look like you know what you're doing.
In recent years, multiple studies have been conducted to study these harmful messages through children's animation. Though lots of negative ideals stemmed from the U.S. social cues then normal, now wrong today, there is a current consistency that many artists and creators have not thought of its negative impact: creating attractiveness. Such a physical difference, like a scar in the Disney film The Lion King, can visually create a line between good and bad characters. With male and female characters, the traits which justify a beautiful person compared to their inner beauty have become common among animators for decades. Rebecca Rose states it best, saying, "These animated films mold children, partially because the children still believe animated images are real, suggesting that we should pay attention to what these films show children." A good point. To draw a character, whether human or not, as a beautiful one can be a subjective task. However, to the children who view the animated content, the subtextual learning from the character's appearance correlates as strongly as the lesson they may learn in the narrative story. The traits of attractiveness often separate the hero from the villain, as good guys are good-looking and bad guys are ugly. Whether it's Ursula from The Little Mermaid or Danny Phantom of the Nickelodeon 2004 series, there is a clear difference in body shape and facial features, which reflect a physical parallel to the character's moral status. In a 2002 study, Dr. D.G. Myers said, "Books and television for children usually present the heroic prince and princess as moral and attractive, but the wicked witch and evil characters as unattractive. Nobody wants to be the bad guy, so don't be ugly. If you want to be the good guy, you got to be pretty." Such a reach in an argument is not far off from the theory, a theory that argues children's animation in film and television has negative influences on a child's perception of attractiveness and body image.
The traits animation teaches children to aspire to are things like a small waist and big eyes, and broad shoulders, a tapered waist, and big muscles. Look, even the frogs are doing it. Now, throughout the years, there has been more diversity of common animation body types. Lecturer Rebecca Rowe actually says that there are now 4 very common body types: the pear shape, the hourglass shape, the rectangle, or the inverted triangle. But however you slice it, there are still consequences for showing these portrayals to children. The vast majority of literature on this topic focuses on young girls. A 2016 study on girls in South Australia found that being exposed to an ideal of thinness in media from around the age of 5 predicts future concerns related to appearance. A 2013 study on Thai kindergarten girls, roughly 80%, said they felt fat after viewing movies from Disney, an animation powerhouse. There is less focus on the study of how boys are affected by the equally unrealistic body portrayals they're shown on screen. However, what little research there is shows that animation has a similar effect on the body image of boys. In a 2000 study on children in the American Midwest, boys, as well as girls, in grades 1 through 3 displayed a positive correlation between eating and body concern after viewing television. This same study, as well as another one published a year later, found that this type of media was also associated with disordered eating in early elementary age children of both genders. Furthermore, there's no research on non-binary young people. These gaps in literature on boys and non-binary individuals are one area in which the research of this topic can definitely expand into going forward. The research available does do well examining this issue in a global context, though, as the research available spans multiple countries. It is important to address that there are breaks in the norm when it comes to the stereotypical traits used for different purposes in animation. Some of these breaks are just as bad, though. For example, in the animated movie Coraline, the monstrous form of the other mother actually has a much smaller waistline and much less realistic figure when compared to Coraline's non-evil real mother, flipping this norm. However, the animation of the other mother is still harmful on body image because it demonizes other common features. For example, the medical condition kyphosis, commonly known as hunchback. The character also has a large, exaggerated nose, which is discussed as an anti-Semitic depiction of the stereotypical quote-unquote Jewish nose in Sid Cohen's video essay on anti-Semitism in popular media. Other breaks in the norm are a little more complex. Shrek is an interesting example of this. As University of South Florida psychology professor Joel Kevin Thompson was quick to point out soon after its original release, Shrek reinforces the harmful idea that fat is ugly. However, in the story, the ogres, the fat characters in question, are actually the good guys, and by the end of the movie, protagonist Fiona chooses to be an ogre instead of a very stereotypically animated princess.
These lines of lightning mean we're never alone, never alone. No, come on, jump a little higher.
Because of this, many people actually opposed Thomas's ideas by saying it is actually body positive. Specifically in response to this, one Tampa moviegoer claimed to pass two 10-year-old girls on the way out of the theater who wanted to be ogre girls, not princesses. In fact, there are many efforts being made now towards decreasing the negative effects of body portrayal in animation. For example, the animation styles in Brave and Moana are a large improvement from Cinderella and Aurora. There's even a 2020 study that aimed, with a variety of successful results, to use media as a micro-intervention to actually improve children's body image and their resistance to appearance-based teasing.